Hey guys, we're going to be going over my last tournament rounds at Mayfair Lakes. We ended up finishing 6th place, 2 over for the tournament, par 71. So we shot 72-72. The winning score ended up being 1 under, which sucks because I only lost by 3 and I definitely could have had a chance to win. The day was absolutely miserable though. So I'm pretty happy with 72. Unfortunately, I don't think I could have done too much better. But as we get into the breakdown, I think I could have. But again, it was very tough conditions. But yeah, I'm gonna be going over my process of what I do. I'm gonna go round by round and then we'll kind of look at it in total. But yeah, let me know if you guys like this. I'll do more of these. Like I said, I do this on my own. So if you guys want to see more of these, let me know. All right, let's get into it. Before I begin, I use a couple different apps to keep my stats. I use GolfMetrics, which it's very easy to use on the apps. I also use Decade Golf as well. Decade is by far better. It's a little bit more expensive. I just feel like in terms of like the purpose of this video, it's just easier to input the data for me on GolfMetrics. So I'm gonna use that, but I primarily use Decade Golf. They have a bunch more stuff. But I'm gonna have the screen recording as well, and we're just gonna be looking at kind of everything you see when you put your stats into the round. So we're gonna start here with just like the basic statistics. You got your score, you got your greens hit, fairways hit, and all that stuff. Let's go back to here. So what you're gonna do when you're inputting these rounds is this is what you're gonna see now. I've already inputted the data, right? So this would be empty essentially, right? But basically what you do is you put how far the tee is and then how far away you are from the hole. As you can see on the first hole, I pumped it into the hazard, which not ideal. So, but essentially how strokes gains works is it's like almost an average of what a PGA Tour player does from each position, right? So to oversimplify it, let's just say if the average PGA Tour player from 150 yards hits it to 25 feet, I don't know if that's accurate, let's just say, if you hit it to 25 feet, you're gonna gain nothing because that's what the average is. Right now, if you hit it closer, let's say you hit it to 10 feet, you may gain like a third of a shot. Right? If you hit it outside that 25 feet, let's say to 50 feet, you may lose like maybe like a 1/10 of a shot or a 20th of a shot, right? So basically this is a more advanced way of measuring statistics beyond greens hit, fairways, putts, and all that stuff, right? So I like this because it gives you a very unbiased way of what you need to work on, right? Because if you traditionally keep your stats, greens hit, fairways hit, and stuff like that, you'll be like, okay, I shot, let's just say 75, right? I hit 18 greens, right? And I had 38 putts, okay? You're gonna look at that instantly and be like, okay, my ball striking was amazing, my putting was absolutely terrible, right? But what this takes into account is proximity to the hole, right? So just because you're hitting all 18 greens, you can be hitting to 50 feet, 40 feet, putting a lot of pressure on your putting, and you're having so many long putts that it's actually, your putting was not bad, you were stressing it so much, right? Your ball striking, although you hit all 18 greens, was quite not the best because you kept having outside that PGA Tour average number, right? So it's just nice to see, like I said, an unbiased way of keeping your statistics, right? So I'm just gonna go through these for now just to keep it simple. I'm gonna go to results right now. So we're gonna look at the scorecard for the first 9, and that's not good. Look at all those 5s. Oh my God, we started off bogey, 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 and then we finished off with another bogey on the 9. But then we turn it on the back 9, 3 birdies, which is nice. So let's go into the next part here. So this is where we see the individual breakdowns of kind of the strokes gained, right? This is a little hard to see, so we're gonna go to the next slide here because it's in a graph form, easier to see. So essentially here, again, 0 is PGA Tour average. 0 is unreal, right? Just because it's 0 doesn't mean it's bad. If you're positive, you played amazing that day in that department, right? And as you can see, my approach was plus 2.4. Unbelievable. That's so incredibly good, right? I'll pull up the numbers of the best strokes gained in terms of ball striking, and you'll see that there. Again, there's 1 round, so small sample size. These guys are doing it for the course of the year. But if you see positive, that is really, really good, right? But negative is really, really bad as well. So our driver was terrible and our putting was terrible. Now, the thing with these, it may look a lot worse than it actually is. And let me go back to the first hole, right? I hit one into the hazard. Let's go back here. Oops. Let's go to shot entry. Okay, so we're gonna see my tee ball. I hit my first tee shot into the hazard, right? I lost 1.3 strokes on one shot. Okay, it's very difficult, very, very difficult to gain those back. Okay, let's go to the next hole too. I missed like a 2-footer, a 1-footer. You know why I missed it? Because I hit a great putt to like 2 feet, which is good, but everyone else was around me trying to hit their putts in. So what I did, instead of marking it, I did the old, like, I'm not gonna stand up here, but I did the one like the hand like this, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna get it away, get that foot, the big wide stance, and I never do that, and it takes me missing one of these to remember why I never do that, right? Always mark your putts. Always mark your putts. But we're gonna look here. I missed a 2-footer. I lost a full shot there. A full shot. Very difficult to get back from. Let's see, let's go to the next, not that one there. Let's see. So next one the fourth hole, I made a 7-footer, right? So we gained 0.43 of a shot, right? Pretty solid. So that's kind of the breakdown of strokes gained, okay? So we're gonna go back to the results and we're gonna go through these individually, right? I'm just gonna go through my bogeys and maybe the stuff that was memorable in the round. I don't need to go over the whole round, but we're just gonna go over where I feel like I need to do better at, right? So the first hole, again, I hit a 3-wood off the tee. I'm comfortable hitting 3-wood off the tee. I didn't feel nervous in any aspects at all, right? Subconsciously, maybe I was. Now, I hit a snap hook, right? So what that tells me off the get-go is my tempo was either really quick or I got really handsy at the bottom of my swing. I'm gonna go on a limb and say I was very handsy at the bottom of my swing just because, subconsciously, everyone's a little nervous off the first tee. I did not feel nervous at all. I don't really feel nervous off the first tee anymore, to be honest, but you still want to hit a good shot, and I was probably more results-focused thinking instead of just worrying about hitting a good shot. So, got a little handsy at the bottom there. Just poor execution, okay? Just poor execution. So I'm not going to take too much stock into that. I probably should have aimed a little bit more right because the water was the only trouble on that hole. Way left, I could have blasted it way right and been fine, right? So, very unfortunate that happened, but that's the way it goes, right? So I'm going to go back to there. Okay, so I actually made a great 5, to be honest, on that hole. I hit a really good 4-iron from 182 yards. Now, it was dead into the wind, really, really into the wind. So it was probably like a 4-club win both days. It was brutal. So I made a great par. I 2-putted from 50 feet, which was great. So second hole, kind of really unfortunate. Like, that's just a stupid mental error, right? Now, I'm fine. Like, the first hole, I'm okay. And that's the whole, this is the biggest thing I think you guys should take away from this is physical errors are correctable. Like, you don't need to reevaluate your whole swing because you made a bad swing, right? What I'm not okay with is strategic errors and stupid mistakes, okay? Because you may not be able to control how accurate you are off the tee or whatever, but you can always have good strategy, right? Just because you can't execute it is another thing, right? Maybe you need to practice a little bit more, right? But we need to make sure our strategy is good. And this missed 2-footer here is an absolute waste. You know how stupid I would have felt if I would have lost by 1 shot, right? And we're gonna go over this whole 2 rounds, and I could easily find 3 shots in these 2 rounds where I could have won or tied for first, right? So that is an absolute waste, and that is unacceptable, and I will never, ever do that again. Even if I feel any bit uncomfortable or I'm doing these weird stances, trying to get out of people's way, because my focus was not on making that putt. My focus was getting out of their way, and you can't do that. You just can't, right? You need to have a singular focus of the task at hand, and that is getting the ball in the hole, right? If your focus shifts, mark it, stop. Same thing with the full swing. If your focus shifts to anything else other than hitting the fairway, visualizing your ball flight, stop, back off, and do it again, okay? You just can't do that. All right, let's go to the next hole. Now, first hole, I hit a snap hook off the tee, right? Now, this is a trickier par 5. My shot selection off the tee was probably not great. I hit a great drive in the practice round, so I had that good feel, so I want to hit driver again. I hit driver here, probably should have hit a 2-iron, but because this was a reactionary swing, right? And again, can't do this. I'm a good golfer, and I cannot play golf like this. Just because I snap hooked one in the first hole does not mean I should block slice one into the bushes on the next hole, and this is exactly what I did, right? It was a reactionary swing, Can't do it. I needed to commit to a target. I probably should have taken less club and aimed right and just hit it right? Instead of like kind of aiming straight down the fairway and kind of doing this swing where it's like, yep, can't go left there. And it's just, I hit this big shot right that ended up being in the trees, and I hit such a good recovery shot. I had 166 yards. I had to hit a low hook around the trees. And again, this was a bit of a strategic error as well. It was slightly downwind, and I hit a hard 8-iron. And when I'm hitting a low hook like that, it's gonna run quite a bit, right? And I missed this long, about 20 yards long, as you can see. So I needed to get it down. So my execution was not there, and my strategy wasn't there as well. I think the club choice was correct. I shouldn't have swung so hard. I was playing for the 166 shot instead of taking into the account of how much this is going to roll, how downwind it was, and where I would like to end up. Realistically, front edge of the green would have been way better than back of the green. Okay, so I hit an amazing shot there, but my strategy was poor. My thinking was poor. And again, unacceptable. I can't have that. Okay, I need to be better than that, because I hit the shot I tried to, but it was poor execution. Okay, and that's a theme in this video going forward. So I'm gonna scroll back a little bit there. I made a bunch of pars, which is good. You don't need to see that. We're gonna go to the next bogey here on the 9th hole. This was kind of a tough one. I mean, I absolutely split the middle of the fairway with a 2-iron. At this point, I had gone to 2-iron because I was not hitting driver well. And I'm okay with ditching driver, to be honest, because I hit my clubs relatively far, so it's not that big of a disadvantage for me to lay back. I mean, it is, but I'd rather be in the fairway, to be honest, especially if I'm feeling very uncomfortable with driver. So hit a great shot, had 148 yards. The wind was kind of crossed. Hit a 9-iron, but I missed. The pin was back right, and I hit a decent shot, but the wind kind of took it a little bit, and it missed the green by like 8 yards, right? So I was only 24 feet from the cup, right? So it's actually not that bad of a shot. I should have aimed way more left and just hit to the middle of the green. And I hit a good pitch. I hit it to like 5 feet, and we just missed, which sucks because should be making those, but I just didn't. So it's fine. Like I'm not gonna blame the 5-footer miss there. I'm gonna blame the approach shot, right? I should have just hit that middle of the green, because with how difficult the wind was, I should have just played a little bit more conservative and not try to go at the pin. I was trying to like get one of those bogeys back, the 3 I already have, and I ended up making a bogey. So poor strategy there, right? But the back nine, we turn it around, which is good. I don't need to go into too much, because they're birdies. Like this first birdie on a par 5, base just hit a good drive, hit a good shot, and then got up and down. My pitch wasn't the greatest, but we managed to get up and down. There is one of these holes that I do, yeah, it's this one here. So this one, again, I didn't have a clear picture in my mind of the shot I wanted to execute. The water creeps in about, I'm gonna say like 310 yards, maybe 305. Straight downwind this hole. There's not a lot left. There's bunkers right, but they're carryable. There's trees right. Now, I had in the back of my mind that I was worried about that hazard left, hitting it like 310 because it was downwind. And again, didn't have a clear picture. Instead of like worrying about where I wanted it to go, I was thinking about where I didn't want it to go. And then again, reactionary swing. I came out of it and I hit a mega block to the right, and it was absolutely dead. So I had 160 yards to the green, but I had to pretty much go sideways. The best I can do is 69 yards. But and that's the thing that I'm really learning, is I'm a great wedge player. So if I am in trouble, it's not that big of a disadvantage if I just bring it back to the fairway to a number I like and try to hit it on the green, because as we did here, I made a great 4, right? That was a big momentum shift there. I could have made bogey there, and then I'm back to 4 over. Instead, I'm at 3? Yeah. So, and then I make a couple more birdies come in. But that was a really good one. That was just an example of like, if you have a strength, play to it, right? You don't always need to hit the hero shot, right? So I don't think there's much more for this 9 to cover. Let's see if I had anything in my notes. No, I don't really have anything in my notes for that round. Like I said, shot 72. The low score was 1 under that day, so 70. Sorry. This was a round I could have got a lot more out of. I think that front end really ruined me 4 over. If I would have just played an even par, I'd win the tournament, right? And even par wasn't asking much, because although it was very windy, it was a nice day, wearing a golf shirt, like the conditions were fine. So I should have done better than that. I'm gonna go just let's take a look at just the last little bit of statistics here. Just again, or actually let's go there. Yeah, see this, like minus three. Putting is terrible, and that's all short, right? If I would have had that, it's very tough to have positives in those just because you're supposed to make all of those. But if I'm hovering around 0 there, I'm fine. So, but again, just last little look at the statistics here. Okay, last thing here is 51 feet of putts hold. That's awful. That is terrible. I think the average PGA Tour per round, no, not the average. The best average is about 90 feet of putts made per round, right? 90 feet. That's 40 feet I'm losing there, right? That's terrible. So again, if we would have got that even to what average, which is probably closer to 75 feet maybe, like there's some shots there. There we go. We shoot 1 under instead of 1 over, right? So that needs to be a bit better at. But the problem with me, not the problem, is if you're a very good ball striker, you're going to suffer with poor putting stance, because I hit a lot of shots at 20 feet and I don't make a lot of those because statistically you're not supposed to make a lot of those. So I have a lot of 1-footers, a lot of stress-free putts that I make. So I make a lot of like 1-footers, right? I don't have too many like 10-footers, 5-footers, 15-footers and stuff like that. Like, I mean, if I hitting it well, then yeah, but like I either have like 20, 25 feet or, 1 foot. So I'm a good leg putter. It's just, yeah. So we're going to go to the second round here. Let's see. Let's go back. Okay. So this one, I'm going to go to the results quickly. Ooh, no, that's the first round. We got to go here. I'm going to go to the statistics first. Okay. So this round, this day was awful. Absolutely awful. It was windy, it was cold, and it was pouring rain the whole day. It went from seemed like 12, 13 degrees Celsius to like the first round to like 2 degrees Celsius the next day. It was absolutely awful, miserable, probably the most miserable rounds of my life. But we were in grind mode. And honestly, for me, like, I feel like I played better in the rain because I play a lot of golf in the rain and stuff like that. So I'm very good at like keeping my stuff dry and like understanding like it's an attitude for the most part. Like a lot of people are going to psych themselves out. So I kind of almost like it when it's raining a bit because I know a lot of people are just done. And you'll see like a lot of the guys shot 1 under even blew up, right? So didn't need to worry about them, which was nice. But very similar statistics here. 72 was the same, 13 greens and reg the same, 8 out of 14 fairways. The greens and reg was way more impressive today for this round compared to the first round, to be honest, because of the conditions. The wind was the same, like 2, 3, 4 clubs at times, but it was just so cold and so windy. So I had less birdies and less bogeys, 2 and 3. I did make a lot more feet of putts, which was nice. Very unsustainable though for me, so it probably could have been a little bit worse of a round, to be honest. But I'm very happy with this round, to be honest. So let's go back to, let's see, so what holes did we bogey? Let's go back to shot entry here. I think the 6th hole is, well, I'll just quickly go through these, right? Just so you can see kind of what I did. So first hole I had 14-footer for birdie, didn't make it. Made a 15-footer, which was nice. This was a good one because I hit a really bad tee shot. I kind of hooked it a little bit left. I got really lucky, but I was up against like the hazard, so I had to just hack it out to the fairway. Instead of like going for the green, I could have maybe gone for the green, but again, hacked it out to the fairway. And again, good wedge player. This one wasn't the greatest. I hit it to 22 feet, but we ended up making the putt, which was nice. So really, really good one there. This one just a nice up and down for par. This hole was brutal. 184, water everywhere into the wind. That was a tough one here. This par 5 was quite poor. A common theme of this tournament was I hit so many shots off the tee right, so many. So I'm gonna need to really figure that out. That's kind of the pattern there. Just so many shots to the right. Like this one was way right. The first 8 were way right. I only had like 2 shots missed left, and that was just bad swings. Right? These are uncommitted. Just I feel decent, but it's just like I don't know. So I got to fix that. But this was a pretty decent one here. I mean, 560 par 5. I block it way right, so I had to basically chip out sideways to 208 yards. Again, hit a 5-iron to the middle of the green from 208. Great shot to the green there. And then I almost made bogey there. I almost 3-putted, but it was weird. The green was really weird, but we made a good par there considering. Now we made our first bogey of the day. Now this one I'm not really concerned of. the conditions are super tough, and the club just slipped, right? I'm not gonna make excuses here, but the club just slipped and I missed it way right. I barely hit it. I almost missed the ball. It's a 2-iron. I usually hit 2-iron really well. So I had 208 yards, and I had such a good 5-iron. Again, just barely missed the green, and then this was just execution error. I mean, I hit a really good pitch, but I cut it too close to the fringe in terms of my landing spot. I should have aimed like maybe 5 feet closer, because I had like probably 20 feet of green to work with, and it caught the fringe on my first bounce, and it just kind of killed it a little bit, and it released to 9 feet. If that lands on the green even by a foot, that's going to be a tap in, right? So I kind of cut a little too close to the sun there, so that was just my fault. I should have been a little bit more conservative. I just didn't hit it hard enough, to be honest. But the feel is a little bit off sometimes when it's that cold, so I'm not going to put too much stock in that. So let's see, when's the next hole that was something. But again, we'll just go back into these. Like 38 footer for birdie, pretty poor from 65 yards. I didn't really have a shot, to be honest. 18 feet, which was good. 17 feet, which is good. 13 feet, which is good. 20 footer for birdie. 25 footer for birdie. So many like birdie chances. I'm a very good ball striker. I just like, not much you can do. But this was our first big mistake of the day. And again, I think for the tournament, I'm even par. No. Yeah, I'm 1 over for the tournament because I have 1 birdie, 1 bogey. I'm 1 over for the tournament. At this point, I think I'm in second place. I think everyone has kind of shot themselves out of the day. There's 1 guy, I think, at even par. 2 guys at even par, I think, at this point. So I needed to take advantage of these, and I didn't. Like 419 yards, I absolutely blitzed the middle of the fairway. 103 yards. It was just crazy downwind. I did not hit a good wedge shot. I should have had my landing spot a little bit lower. Instead, I hit it to 103 yards instead of maybe carrying it like 95 or whatever. I just didn't have good strategy there. And it hits 28 feet behind the pin, and it was super into the wind, and I just did not. The guy in front of me had a similar putt and blasted it like way by, so I kind of let that affect me, and I hit it way short. So nothing you can do but a bogey from 103 yards from a perfect line in the middle of the fairway. Tough. Absolute wasted, potentially 2 wasted shots there. Next hole, we made back-to-back bogeys, unfortunately. And again, this was a strategic error that really bothered me because I hit an excellent shot. I had 158 yards, and this one I hit a pitching wedge. Now, the wind was, at this point, the wind's crazy cross left to right, and the pin is kind of like back right-ish. I aimed it exactly at the pin, and I hit it so good, and it was going, and then it just starts tailing off because of the wind, right? I hit an excellent shot, but my strategy was absolute garbage, right? I should have aimed left side of the green, right? Or maybe try to flight it down a bit, take the bit of the wind out of play, or just aim left. Very easy, and then it would have just filtered off to the hole. Like, that was just such a mad mistake because I hit an excellent golf shot, and it was just poor strategy. Again, I'm not okay with that. I'm okay with hitting bad shots. I'm not okay with poor strategy, okay? Because you can always control that, and that really bothered me. Because again, we went from potentially second place, maybe a chance of birdie to get into the lead, instead we're 3 over now, right? Super tough. So now I got a bunch of hard holes coming up that I'm gonna have to try to birdie, which was tough. So made a really good par on this one. Like, that was just a terrible chip from 11 yards in the middle of the fairway. This hole was 208 yards. Oh, water everywhere. I hit a 2-iron. One guy hit a 3-wood, and one guy hit a hybrid. Nobody got to the green. This was playing like 240. Unreal. So honestly, a par was great. Made a good birdie here. 130 yards, hit a sandwich. It was pretty downwind. That's the thing when it's that downwind. Like, it's hard to kind of get the club right, and I hit a really good shot. So very happy with that birdie. Gets you back to 2 over, and then I had a great crack at birdie here on 17. That's a tough one, didn't make it. And then 18, I missed a 12-footer for birdie. So we ended up shooting 72, 72. At this point, I needed to go birdie eagle to win, to tie, to get into a playoff, right? So I kind of knew that going in. And like I said, as soon as that putt on 17 didn't go in, I kind of got deflated a bit. And I tried to make birdie in there and stuff, but it's hard. If I'm not going for the win, like, I don't know. I'm not going to say I lost a little bit of focus there, but it's just like I kind of got deflated a bit. So I probably could have made birdie and maybe made a little bit more money. Finished like 4th or 3rd, but that's okay. all in all, I'm very happy with this tournament. I'm gonna go back to this. It's the first tournament of the year, so a little bit rusty. So I'm gonna go the results here again. So let's see what my average was for the tournament. So for this, like, driving was pretty poor, putting was pretty poor. Like, the putting thing I'm okay with. I'm just gonna hit some short putts. I'll be honest, like, first event of the year, like, you're gonna miss some short putts. You know why? I've been playing a lot of golf. I've been scooping them up, to be honest. So I need to, like, play a little bit more like my tournaments and just putt everything out. So that I don't put a lot of stock in. I'm still gonna do my same practice where I'm gonna grind a lot of 3-footers, a lot of 6-footers, and then just a lot of, like, speed control outside of 15 feet. But I'm not gonna change anything different there. Those are just product of just being rusty. Totally fine there. Driver does need some work. Driver was absolutely pathetic. A lot of shots right. So I'm gonna really have to grind on that. I think it's a swing issue for sure because I am really extending a little bit, so I'm gonna grind hard on that. It's just unacceptable. I can't do that. But it looks like the majority of my strokes gained were made in ball striking from 150 to 200 yards. So again, like, if I'm not hitting driver well, I can just hit to this number, and I'm way above tour average from those numbers, right? So play to your strengths, right? I don't need to have 100 yards in every time to make birdies. I can hit it to these numbers and be totally fine, right? So that's just, you don't always need to hit driver, right? You should if you're feeling, like, good with it, but, like, if you know it's gonna be bad, don't hit it. Short game was very, like, flatline, which is fine. I hit a lot of good shots, hit a couple bad shots, but nothing crazy there. Putting, again, my 7 to 21 feet was great. Those two, so basically all my putts lost were short, so not a lot of stock in there. Again, I averaged 73 feet of putts made in terms of feet, so right around tour average, which I'm okay with, to be honest. So I'm happy with my putts in that length, but short ones were not good. Too many bogeys though. 3.5 bogeys per round is not good. I need to fix that. So I think I can go in here. Yeah, if you want to see, like, the advanced statistics here, so, like, 80%, I'm pretty well bang on with the pros in terms of 100 to 150 yards, but I'm way better than them at 150 to 200. Granted, they're playing harder conditions, so take this with a grain of salt, but I'm on the green more and my proximity is better. So I need to play to that strength, okay? So I don't think there's anything else there. But yeah, so that's kind of what I do. So I think the whole point of this is to go over your round and see what is a physical error, what is a mental error, what's a strategic error, right? You can fix the mental errors, you can fix the strategic errors very easily, right? You can do that every single time, right? The physical errors are going to take a little bit more time, but again, like, if you're just dumb and you miss a short putt, you don't need to, like, all of a sudden hit 1 billion 3-footers, right? It was just bad. Your thinking wasn't there, your focus wasn't there, right? For me, it's very glaring that my driver needs work, just based on the numbers and my feel as well. So I'm gonna really grind that hard, gonna try to get rid of that early extension because the nice thing, it's a pattern right, so, and I'm hitting a little Healy as well, so I know what I'm doing, which is good. So I'll either try to fix myself or go to Ryan Hawley, one of my instructors, who will sort me out instantly, which is great. But yeah, let me know if you guys like these. Again, it's very raw, very in-depth. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I look way more beyond just the greens hit, fairways hit, and putts hit, right? We're going a little bit more in depth with that, but let me know if this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions on anything else in terms of my process or anything like that. But I'll do these for every single event if you want, because it changes every single event. Sometimes it's gonna play great, sometimes it's gonna play terrible, right? But the structure is very similar, okay? So again, I appreciate you guys watching. If you're still here, I love you. Oh my gosh, I love you. Put it in the comments that you're still here. It means the world to me that you guys are watching this. So, but yeah, remember, like, comment, subscribe, do the usual stuff. I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.